Can we have him stage at the junction of Moon Lake and 375 to pick up the keys from one of our staff?
Set it out, it's all covered with powdered dirt.
Hi, I'm Jabroni. I went to the raid on Area 51, and I came the closest to death that I have ever been there. I'm going to tell you all about it right now. So, a lot of you that watch my channel already know that I've been planning on going to the raid on Area 51 for a long time, so I did all my research before I took my trip halfway across the country. The guy who originally created the Facebook group, Matty Roberts, and the organization backing him canceled this festival just a few days before it was supposed to happen. The event was going to be in Rachel, Nevada, which is conveniently just about 20 minutes from the front gate of Area 51, so it's a cool place to have a festival. Even though they canceled the festival, I decided I would still go since I'd already bought my plane ticket and hotel, and I am so glad that I decided to come anyway because it was insane. Matty put together a last-minute concert in downtown Las Vegas to make up for the canceled festival, and it actually ended up being pretty cool. Here he is addressing the crowd.
I just want you all to give a shout out to yourselves for showing up to this thing on a fucking Thursday night! Also, give a shout out to those two dudes in the alien costumes! Give Sage Armstrong a shout out too, it was badass! Now if it's alright with you guys, I'm gonna count to 3 and we're all gonna take a picture together. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3! You guys are awesome, enjoy the show!
The music was pretty decent and it was a good time, but the most alien thing I saw there was the $16 beers. Seriously. The next day, I got up and drove out to Area 51. So, I'm on the way to Area 51. I'm driving through the Nevada desert. It is very remote. There is nothing out here. I've been stuck behind this semi for like an hour. I was just trying to live stream on Twitch and it cut out because there's no internet out here. Imagine that, I'm in the middle of the desert and there's no Wi-Fi. Come on, government, get your shit together. Put Wi-Fi towers in. Oh my god, look at the cops. I decided to go to the gate first at Area 51 because I figured if anything crazy was going on, it would be happening right there at the gate. I am sorry, I know this is going to be bumpy as fuck. But I'm pulling up on Rachel, Nevada. I'm slowing down. There's supposed to be a dirt road to my left. There it is. That's it. This goes to the gate. This goes to the gate of Area 51. I am so fucking scared right now. My heart is beating. So the town is over there to my right. I will probably come back here and go to the festival. Dude, the person behind me is turning too. Holy fuck. Okay, so what I read online is that this road goes for about 10 miles. And then you get to the gate. So, I'm walking up to the gate, and this is the middle of nowhere, dude. This is crazy. Besides the few people here, it is so quiet. But this is awesome. There's so many people here. I've seen so many cops, just like hundreds of them. I think they brought half the cops from Vegas out here. But when I got there, it was actually super tame. It was just a handful of people hanging out, taking pictures, swapping alien stories, which I thought was fun. And even the cops were super chill. They were letting everyone just walk right up to the gate, take pictures. No big deal. Everyone was kind of showing up, doing their little photo op and leaving, which was not at all what I expected. But it was kind of a cool little photo op.
I need formal. Yeah. All right. Cool. Your turn.
Now, by this point in the day, I'm worried that this entire thing is going to be a dud, and I have never been more wrong in my life, because I decided to drive over to the festival in Rachel, about 20 minutes away, and I witnessed the greatest anime battle that has ever taken place on this earth.
Itachi won round 2 and it's tied!
Three,
You, me, and...
two,
Okay, I got
one, hey! Go! Who's gonna win?
Yeah.
The brothers!
It's
Happy
the final
ending.
match down! They are now friends! What?
Oh shit! It's 2 Naruto's! Oh, the Shadow Clone! Fucking
Oh shit.
Yo, that was
This girl told everyone that she is a real alien and came to Earth to teach us how to communicate with them. Like, for real. Like, no joke.
I'm not stressing though.
Feel the energy at your third eye. Feel it building up.
So I kind of walked around for a few hours, talked to people. You know, I didn't end up buying any merch, but I just kind of walked around and observed, and I realized at some point that this venue did not have the crowds and it did not have the sound system to turn the night into a banger. Now, don't get me wrong, lots of cool and interesting and crazy people showed up, and that was super cool, and everyone was super nice, and it was generally a good vibe, but it kind of struck me at one moment that this festival was effectively canceled. I think this was the moment right here.
And I'm about to lose my mind. You've been gone for so long, I'm running out of time. I need a doctor, call me a doctor. I need a doctor.
So I decided I wouldn't miss anything if I left now, and I packed up my stuff and started the drive back to Vegas. It's a 2.5-hour drive through the desert, and I left right as the sun was going down. I've thought about that moment a lot. What if I decided to leave 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later? Could I have avoided what was about to happen, or was it just inevitable? I don't know. After about 30 minutes of my drive, it was pitch black on this freeway, and the windy desert mountain roads meant I had to drive a little slower to have extra reaction time in case something in the road came up. So the speed limit was 70, but I was only going 60. Then all of a sudden I got to the top of a hill. I was still going 60, and as soon as I got to the top, I saw something big moving about 5 to 10 feet in front of me. I slammed on the brakes and did my best to keep the steering wheel straight. I didn't want to veer off the road because I knew there were cliffs in the area and I didn't want to fall off one. In less than a second, I had barreled into a full-grown cow at 60 miles per hour. Yeah. As I slammed on the brakes, it smashed the front end of the car and began to slide up towards me, and I was afraid it was going to come through the windshield and crush me to death. Within a couple of seconds, all the airbags deployed, which was lucky because my head jerked hard left and would have hit the window. As soon as I came to a stop, the dashboard started smoking, and I could smell burning plastic. Instantly, I remembered all the dash cam videos I've seen on YouTube of cars bursting into flames after a wreck, and I started to freak out. It was a rental car, so I wasn't super familiar with it, and I couldn't find the door handle to get out. One of the side airbags was covering it up, and so I started ripping through all of the airbags on my left to try and find the door handle. After a few seconds that honestly felt like hours, I finally managed to get the door open and stumble out of the car, just in time to see the first police officer responding hit a mile marker. He veered into a ditch and hit a mile marker on the other side of the freeway, knocked his radiator out. He had to be towed too by the end of the night. It was completely insane. I could barely stand up, and I was just like standing in the middle of the freeway, and luckily 2 guys that were on their way to the festival going the opposite direction stopped and got out. They ran over to help me and made sure I wasn't standing in the middle of the road. Big props to you 2 guys. Thank you. I do not remember your names. I was like completely in shock, so I apologize, but thank you guys. I felt terrible for the cow. The gunshot from the beginning of the video was the cops putting it down. The police told me it actually happens all the time there. The tow truck driver, who was nice enough to give me a ride all the way back to Vegas, told me it does happen all the time there, and what the police told me was true, but what the police hadn't told me was the last few people to hit a cow with like this had actually died on impact. And that's the moment when I realized how incredibly lucky I was, not only to walk away from that wreck, but to still be alive. Here's what the car looked like after the wreck. The lesson here is, if you're driving at night, be careful. And if you think you're being careful enough, be more careful. So, do I regret going to this whole thing? No. It was the craziest, most fun weekend I've had in years. And somewhere up in cow heaven, I hope my new guardian angel cow can forgive me.